I'm a 25-year-old female and I've been living with my boyfriend for the last 6 years. This happened about 4 years ago. I was online a lot and still am, and I met a lot of cool people. Many of them had rough backstories, but I always offered a listening ear and tried to support them. I'm going to mention that I have autism and can be pretty naive, so I don't recognize certain bad situations right away. I ended up meeting a 24-year-old guy from Australia who had just broken up with his girlfriend. He said that she was emotionally unstable and that it ended with her wanting to kill herself and him not being able to handle it anymore. I talked to him about it a lot and tried to help him cope with the situation. We started to play games together online and I started to see him as a friend. But after a while, I started to notice that he was kind of acting like I was his girlfriend. I shrugged it off because he knew that I had a boyfriend and it might have just been kindness that I mistook. I'm pretty famous for being oblivious to that kind of stuff. He started to tell me that I should break up with my boyfriend, going on long tangents and writing me emails about how my boyfriend was like his ex-girlfriend, that he abused me mentally and physically, that he was raping me, was making my life a living hell, and that he was going to kill me one day. Which was all completely absurd, and I kept explaining that to him. After a while, it was obvious that he indeed thought of me as his new girlfriend. He made it clear that we were going to spend the rest of our lives together and that he would make sure of it. He was convinced that me telling him to stop and leave me alone was all orchestrated by my boyfriend and that I was actually being held hostage. Luckily, he didn't know my full name, or so I thought, or where I lived. I started getting messages from random accounts with pictures of people bloodied up saying, "This is going to happen," all with his name on the pages itself. This went on for a while. I begged him to stop, but he kept pushing. I had blocked him, but he kept making new accounts to get in contact with me. I decided to just delete my account on that site altogether and not go on there anymore, and I hoped it would go away. But then I suddenly started to get messages on Facebook. I never even told him my full name, and even then I made sure my Facebook is extremely private. I used a family nickname and I only had other family members on there. My boyfriend didn't even have a Facebook account. And like I said before, I kept my full name and location to myself. He made about 150 pages and profiles completely directed to me, with pictures of people killing themselves, telling me he was going to kill himself, complete with the overlays and banners of "This is your fault." It seemed like he made it his full-time day job to send me messages on different platforms. He even found stuff like my YouTube account and followed me around there. Eventually, he started sending receipts of his school books that he had sold of his current school year, and later one plane ticket to the airport where I actually lived close to, and 2 back to Australia. He kept sending me, quote, proof, like of him moving out of his apartment and putting stuff into storage. He told me he was coming to save me from my boyfriend who had kept me hostage, and that he was going to kill him and take me back to Australia so I could be safe. He had gotten rid of all the ties he had. He quit school and quit his job so that we could have a blank slate, telling me we'd have to live under the radar for a while. All the while, he kept sending me pictures as proof of doing these things because he loved me and wanted to show it. By now, I had blocked every Facebook account with his, unfortunately, extremely common name, and basically deleted every other online account I had. Even though a lot of them were under different names, he found me everywhere. Eventually, the day came where he was taking pictures at the airport, which he was then posting to Facebook, and I immediately recognized the logos as my country's official airline. He began talking about the actual house I lived in. Keep in mind, I don't live in some normal place. I lived on an industrial area and a maintenance apartment inside a huge empty building with only one other office. The whole building was open to me and there weren't any people living remotely nearby. He definitely couldn't have just known I lived there. He started messaging about how perfect the whole setup was for his plans. My boyfriend was aware of everything that had happened by then. and thought it was best if maybe we'd sought out the help of police to give us some advice. But of course they couldn't do anything and suggested that if we were scared we better just go somewhere else. And we decided to go stay at my parents'. We went back the next day since we both had school and work. But we saw police cars in front of the building. The owner informed us that someone had broken in. This person had tried to go into the office next to our apartment, and they had an alarm system that went off and alerted the cops. At that point, I wanted to know what the hell was going on and if he had tried to break in, since that was our first guess. It wasn't hard contacting him since he already sent me multiple messages again on Facebook from several different accounts. My boyfriend contacted him and the guy agreed to have a webcam chat. And when he turned his cam on, I immediately recognized the hallmark of our city from the window behind him. I silently freaked out, not letting him know that I was present. My boyfriend then spent more than 7 hours talking to him. The guy was furious and still certain that my boyfriend was going to kill me, and nothing could change his mind. After more than 7 hours with my normally calm boyfriend getting pretty annoyed at this point, the guy started copying and pasting whole chat conversations and spin them in crazy ways. The guy then started saying he was disgusted and started to throw out profanities towards him about me, basically saying that if I was so adamant on staying with him, that I deserved what my boyfriend was going to do to me and that he wouldn't mourn me, because I had apparently ruined his, my own, and our kids' lives together. I only heard from him one more time after that. A short video of him being in the hospital saying he had tried to kill himself and that it was all my fault, and that I was going to bring darkness over the earth instead of light, quote, like I promised. He said stuff like that often, and other weird spiritual promises he said I made. I got scared again for a while, but it got silent after that. Even though it was years ago, I'm still afraid the guy isn't over me and that he'll come after me. But as far as I know, his parents had him locked in a nursing home for the mentally ill. I got this information a year later when his older brother finally responded to my Facebook messages to him telling him to please speak to his brother, because he was not okay. Anyways, that's my story, and I hope I never hear from the guy again.